Hello students, this is the 1A recording for the introduction to SCI102B. So taking a look at our schedule for this week, we are starting quarter number 2 on this Thursday, October 31st. So today we are doing our introduction to SCI102B. There are no live sessions for science today, but you do have a live session tomorrow. You'll see you have a required class on Class Connect on your schedule for Friday at 12:30 to 1. So we'll take a look at that schedule in a moment. Today you do have an assignment. It's the extra credit welcome survey. And tomorrow you will also have some notes and attendance due. This is my contact information. So my name is Mrs. Larkin, in case you haven't met me already. You can see my phone number here, 424-294-8688, and my email, bfiorellolarkin@k12insightca.org. You could actually access this email very easily from your course page. It'll have a little button that says email your teacher. That's usually a faster way to contact me. In general, again, email is going to be the best way to contact me because it gives me the time to take a look at what you need and to respond, whereas texting and calling can sometimes be more difficult just because of I might be in a class during that time. Please remember you do get 3 attempts on every assignment, so we'll go over those different assignments in a moment, but you will be getting 3 attempts throughout the quarter. You can turn things in late and still get full credit, but obviously you want to try to get things turned in on time just so that you don't have so much to do at the end of the quarter. So this is day 1 out of 45. Let's go ahead and get started. So this unit, we're going to be taking a look at the nature of matter. So we'll talk about how matter gets classified. We'll talk about energy and viscosity. You will also have a lab for this unit, taking a look at how we make observations and how we analyze data. So today, though, we're just going to start off with our introduction. So we're going to explain how we can be successful in the SCI102B physical science course. You'll also complete the extra credit welcome survey, which I will explain to you in a few moments. Our agenda for today, we're going to talk about attendance. We're going to talk about how your grades are broken down. We'll talk about where to find everything that you need for my course, and we'll talk about the different units that we will be covering throughout this course, and then we'll finish up talking about how to complete the extra credit welcome survey. So first things first, you do need to open up your welcome survey. There are some questions in your welcome survey that are specifically from this recording, so we need to have it open up now. So I'm going to go ahead and screen share with you how to do this, but essentially the steps are go to the Content tab, click Unit 1, Nature of Matter, scroll down, find the extra credit welcome survey, and then click on it and click Start Quiz. So let me go ahead and show you what this looks like. So taking a look here, we're going to, from our homepage, go to Content. Over here on the left, you're going to click Unit 1, Nature of Matter. And then when you scroll down, you will see right here the extra credit welcome survey. So when you click on it, you will see a screen that says something different than mine. Mine is the teacher screen. So I'll show you what the student screen looks like in a moment. Okay, so this is what the student screen looks like. So you're going to go ahead and click where it says Start Quiz, and that will open up your welcome survey. So again, you will see here that we have some questions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 that are specifically about the content for today. So I will be giving you the answers for questions 1 through 6, and then questions 7, 8, 9, and 10, we'll talk about those. Those are just survey questions that don't have specific answers. You answer them based on your personal answers. Okay, so do have that open though, because we will be filling that out as we go. So first things we need to talk about are attendance and our live class schedule. So please remember that Insight policy states attendance to live classes is required, and it is also worth 10% of your entire grade. So if you're not attending classes, you're missing out on 10% of your grade, which is an entire letter grade, which can drop your grade quite drastically, and it's quite meaningful, especially once you get to those lower grades. It can only be earned if you're actually attending and participating, so you actually have to come to class. You actually have to do stuff in class. You can take a look at this week's schedule. Again, science did not have any classes today on Thursday. We will have classes tomorrow on Friday, again from 12:30 to 1. And then next week, our regular schedule will resume. So if you're in group 2, which is mainly last names M through Z, you will be having class from 8:30 to 9:15. Every morning, Monday through Thursday. If you are group 1, which is generally last names A through L, then you will have classes at 9:30 to 10:15, again, Monday through Thursday. We will also have optional support sessions They do change a little bit throughout each week, whether they're on Monday, Wednesday, and or Friday. Next Friday, I do have a field trip to go on. So next week, our only support sessions will be Monday and Wednesday from, sorry, this should say 1 to 1:30, 1 to 1:30. All right, so at this point, you can see that I have a little button here that says survey number 1, which means that we're going to fill out question number 1 in our survey. And I am giving you the answer. So the answer is what you see in the red box here, which is the word required. So attendance to live classes is required. Let me go ahead and show you how to fill that out. So again, if we're taking a look at question number 1, attendance to live classes is required. So we're filling the blank with what we saw right here in red. Make sure that you always click outside of the box so that it says that your answer is saved. All right, let's go ahead and keep going. So let's take a look at the grade breakdown in my course. So keep in mind that all assignments are completed during the live classes in my course, or also the recordings, right? Fridays you do have assignments, but we don't have live classes. So you'll have recordings that go over all the assignments for you on Fridays. So for notes, the answers are provided word for word, just like I showed you. The word required was in the red box, which I gave to you for number 1. So the survey today looks very similar to what your notes will in the future. Just remember today's is extra credit. And then analyses, labs, and exams are your big assignments. So you do have these big assignments that are each worth 4%. So they're huge assignments. And the questions and procedures that we go over in the analyses, labs, and exams are explained step by step. So again, you can do extremely well on these big assignments. And you really have to because they are a huge part of your grade. But I do go over everything very specifically. It's very easy as long as you're meeting me halfway and doing the work that you need to be doing. So basically, the easiest path to success in my class is just to attend classes, or if you're missing classes, or remember on Fridays when we don't have classes, make sure that you are watching the recordings, because the recordings are recordings of the classes where we do all of this stuff. But again, remember, I do recommend actually attending over just watching recordings, because attendance is still 10% of your grade, and you can't earn it if you are absent, right? So you need to actually be attending class. You can take a look right here. This is, again, our grade breakdown. So analyses, labs, and exams are worth 65%. So analyses, we're going to be annotating paragraphs, answering some questions, and talking about what we learned from those paragraphs. Labs are lab reports, so we actually do experiments, so we get data, we graph that data, we analyze that data. And exams, you guys are familiar with, we're taking a look at the content throughout multiple units and answering questions, applying our knowledge from that. So those are the big assignments. We also have notes, which you'll be completing throughout classes where we don't have one of the big assignments. So anytime we don't have an analysis, a lab, or an exam, you have notes instead. Attendance is 10% of your grade, and again, Star 360 is also 10% of your grade, which I'll show that to you in a few moments as well. So what I want you to be aware of is it is actually impossible to pass my class if you don't do any of the big assignments. So there are 15 big assignments. There's 5 analyses, 5 labs, and 4 unit exams. Those are all worth 4% each. And then your final exam is worth double. So your final exam is worth 8% of your grade. So in total, it adds up to 65%. Passing in my class is 60%, right? So if, for example, you were to do all 15 assignments perfectly, you would pass my class. Obviously, I don't expect you to do everything perfectly. That's not what learning is. So really, you should have a good mix of doing all the 15 big assignments well as doing notes, as well as attending class, as well as making sure Star 360 gets done. But again, if you don't do any of these, the biggest grade that you can possibly get in my class is a 35%, which means you won't pass. So if you're choosing not to do, if you are consciously making the choice not to do these big assignments, I'm just telling you now it's impossible to pass. So you must make sure that you're completing them and doing your best to complete them correctly. So at this point, we're going to fill out question number 2 for the survey, which is the word procedures. You can see it boxed here in red. So let me go ahead and again show you what that looks like. So question number 2, we're filling in the blank with the word procedures. It can be all caps, all lowercase, doesn't matter as long as it's spelled correctly. All right, so question number 1, so our next question is, what category has the biggest weight for your grades? So at this point, you should already know this, right? Your options are Star 360, analyses, labs, exams, notes, or attendance. And so taking a look back at our grade breakdown, again, the biggest grade here is definitely the analyses, the labs, and exams. Those are the 15 big O's, all right? The 15 big assignments. So let me go ahead, I will circle that for you just to make sure it's super obvious. And this is going to actually be the answer to number 3 in our survey. Keep in mind that the answers in your survey may actually be scrambled, so yours may not look like this. So taking a look here, right, category with the biggest weight is going to be analyses, labs, and exams. So at this point, I've already explained how to do fill in the blank questions and multiple choice questions. So I'm not going to show you 4, 5, or 6. Those ones you should be able to do on your own. But again, I am giving you the answers. It's just at this point, you should be able to figure out how to fill them in and how to answer the multiple choice questions. Okay, so let's go ahead and keep on moving here. So the most important tip in my course is that the grades tab is the most important location in my course. It gets updated every day or almost every day with your grades, as well as links to the assignment and to the recording with all the answers and steps. Remember, the recordings of our classes go over every answer, every step of whatever assignment we're going over. So if you didn't know if you didn't know how to navigate anywhere else in my course, that's totally fine as long as you know how to get to the grades tab. So the grades tab is at the top of your course. Again, you really don't need to bother looking anywhere else. The grades tab will be your one-stop shop to everything you need to be successful in my class. Again, this might look differently in other classes, so I'm just talking specifically about my class. But my class, I try to make your life easy. I try to put everything in one spot, and that one spot is the grades tab. So let me go ahead and show you what that looks like. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and exit this. Again, you should keep that open because you're still finishing it, but I do want to show you what your grades tab looks like. So your grades tab is right here. When you click on it, what it will look like is this. Yours will look a little bit different. So when you click on your grades tab, this is what it looks like. So you can see Star 360 as the category. It's worth 10% of your grade, right? It has a weight of 10. Analyses, lab reports, and exams are worth 65% of your grade. You can see right here, the weight is out of 65. Notes are 15%. So the weight is 15 and attendance is 10%. The weight is 10%. Okay. So those big categories are the ones that you're really going to be focused on. You really want to focus on getting the weights of those big categories as high as possible. And again, that's done by attending classes or by watching any recordings for days that we don't have classes or if you ever miss a class. But you can see right here, here are all the descriptions of all the grade items. And again, this is everything you need in order to be successful. So you can see, for example, Star 360 reading and math assessments. You have to take these every single quarter. And so you do get credit in every single class for completing these. So this is 10% of your grade. It's worth 200 points. All right. So you want to make sure you get both the reading and the math done. The instructions are right here. Mr. Hargrave is also sending out all of your passwords and usernames for the website. The website link is right here as well, but it'll also be in that email for you. So make sure you get that done. Make sure you take your time because if you do better on it, you actually end up with less live sessions. So you want to do as best as you possibly can because it actually means that you end up having less classes after week 2. Okay. If you just fly through it, then you'll automatically get the maximum amount of live sessions, which means you have the maximum amount of attendance required. Okay. You'll also, once we start doing our lab reports, you'll see the links right here. For today, because we are only doing the welcome survey, you can see the link to the recording that I'm doing right now, as well as the link to the actual survey that you need to complete for this. And again, this is going to be worth 20 points or about 1% of your grade overall. You do have an opportunity for 10% overall extra credit throughout the course if you're getting stuff done each week that I need you to be doing. And I'll explain that once we get to that next week. Okay, so for question number 4 in your survey, make sure you fill in the word links into the blank. Go ahead, pause the video, fill that out, and then continue playing when you are ready to continue. All right, so the next question is, what is the most important tab on the course page for my SCI102B class? We just went over that, right? So the most important place is definitely going to be the grades tab. So taking a look here, the answer here is grades. Again, the answers will be scrambled on your page, so make sure you read carefully. Answer question number 5. So pause the video, answer question number 5, and continue playing when you are ready to go. All right, so the last thing that we need to talk about before I just tell you what your survey questions are is what is physical science in general. So physical science, if you were already with me last quarter, you know it's the study of how matter, which is the stuff around you, and energy, which is the stuff and how it works, how these things interact. Okay, so it's the study of matter and energy, how they interact. Basically, it's the study of the physical world that's all around you. So quarter one, we did all about physics, which is a lot about like physically how do things work, like thinking about gravity, thinking about friction, thinking about forces, thinking about acceleration, motion, etc. Quarter number two, though, we're going to be taking a look at chemistry, which is kind of zooming in on matter. So we're going to talk about what is the nature of matter. We'll talk about the states of matter and focus a lot on gases and gas laws because there are some specific laws that apply to those. We'll also talk about atoms and elements and mixtures. So that's a huge part, is looking at chemicals. We'll talk about how things bond, as well as chemical reactions, acids and bases, and we will end with talking about organic chemistry, which is chemistry related to living or biological organisms. So lots of really good stuff. It's a lot of fun. We'll do a lot of experiments. There will be fire, right? And then Unit 11, we will have our final exam that goes over all of these. Keep in mind, there's only 10 weeks of school for this quarter and for this course, and so there's actually 11 units, so it goes by very, very quickly. At this point, fill in the word world for number 6 in your survey, and then pause the video, continue playing when you are ready to go. All right, so the last thing that we need to talk about is the questions 7 through 10, which are just survey questions for you. So question 7 is just, what name should I call you? So if it's your name that's already there, just type your name as it already is. But if you have a nickname or a preferred name to go by, you can also type that there. All right, so either type the name that you have or type your nickname or your preferred name. Also, if your name is often mispronounced, please explain how to pronounce it correctly within this question, and please make sure that you keep your name school appropriate if you have a nickname or a preferred name that you like to go by. Question number 8 is just something that I should know about you. So tell me, do you have pets? Do you have hobbies? What do you do for fun? Is there something personal that I need to know about you so that I can better support you? Do you have certain goals, etc.? So it can be something about you, anything about you, but please don't write I don't know. Please don't write there's nothing else or anything similar to those kinds of things. You actually have to give me a real response in order to get credit for this. Question number 9 is, what's the best phone number to contact you at? So please tell me the best phone number, okay? Please also identify, is it your phone number? Is it your mom's? Is it your dad's? Is it someone else's? But make sure I know who is going to be answering the phone. Make sure that whatever phone number you provide is actually a working phone number. So double check if it's someone else's that it actually is a working phone number. And please don't leave this blank. You do actually need to provide the best phone number to contact you. And then the last question is just yes or no. Does the above phone number receive text? Again, it's much easier for me to respond to text as well as emails because they're not in real time, because a lot of times I'm teaching or I'm in meetings and it's hard to answer the actual phone call. So if you can, we're going to try to stick to emails and texts unless absolutely necessary, okay? So this is questions 7 through 10, so make sure you get those done. Again, these are personal responses, so as long as you complete them and as long as you're not doing IDKs or leaving them blank, you'll get credit for these. Okay, so at this point, you should be able to explain how to be successful in this course. You should also know how to complete the extra credit welcome survey. Please make sure that once you're done, you do submit it. It will ask you to confirm a second time if you really want to submit. So always make sure you click submit twice. Thank you so much, everyone, and I will see you later.